Good evening, and thank you for joining this conversation of healing and art to commemorate 5 years since the tragedy on 1 October 2017 at the Route 91 Harvest Festival. My name is Tanil Pereira, and I'm going to be the Master of Ceremonies for this beautiful community event that we have planned, and we are broadcasting from the beautiful Healing Garden. This is the time now to look for the kit that we sent you or that you picked up at one of our various locations, including the Vegas Strong Resiliency Center. For those of you who are going to use other materials, I remind you that you need a base, 4 wooden sticks, white tissue paper, glue, scissors, markers, and a small candle, preferably one with batteries. 5 years ago, thousands of concert goers were having the time of their life when tragedy struck. That night and in the days since, countless heroes stepped forward to share their light with the impacted community. Tonight, we're going to build and decorate lanterns to continue to foster healing in ourselves and in our community through sharing our light. We've invited some very special guests to share healing messages as we put together our lanterns and decorate them. I hope you will display and share your lantern as a symbol of hope and healing. No matter how dark the path has been over the past 5 years, there has always been light. From the darkest night truly has come the strongest light. First, I want to welcome a very special guest that is joining us tonight in person, James B. Gibson, Clark County Commission Chairman, who has been one of the leaders in ensuring all those impacted and our community as a whole receive the resources needed for healing. Commissioner, good evening, and thank you for being with us tonight.
Tomorrow, we will be remembering as we gather the horrific events that occurred on October 1, 2017, 5 years ago. They were events that led to horrific tragedy and personal lives. And in our community, it was a tragedy never before seen, hopefully never again seen. We learned about people who suffered horribly that evening. But one of the things that was fascinating and amazing to all of us was the heroism that surfaced during the night. And then over the course of weeks, months, and yes, even years later, we still have people offering help and support and expressing love to those who were affected adversely by the events of that night. So many of the people who suffered and have suffered over these past 5 years actually did not even attend the festival that night. Many others lost family and friends and were not in attendance. It affected all of us. The amazing thing about the events of that evening were that we learned something about ourselves, and maybe more importantly, we knew what we had together here as a community, but the rest of the world learned what Las Vegas, Nevada is all about, because we came together in a way that offered love and support like no one else has ever done. We're proud of our response, horrified by what got us here, but grateful to all of those who have worked so hard to help all of us put our lives back together and make and have purpose in the things that we do after all we learn. So thank you to everyone who has made an important contribution to the lives of other people and who have worked so hard to improve their own lives, even against the turmoil and the tragedy that was experienced that night.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Those truly were powerful times, and we did see our community come together in a way that we had never seen before. I would like to also invite all of you to join Clark County in remembering tomorrow at the sunrise ceremony at 7:30 a.m. at the Government Center at 500 South Central Parkway. The Vegas Strong Resiliency Center will also stream that live on our Facebook page for those of you who aren't able to attend in person. And now I'd like to invite you to watch a very powerful story of a first responder who was there that night with his wife. He is a true survivor and has truly given of his light that night and for the years after. Let's watch his story about how he has found strength in one of his darkest nights.
So on October 1st, it was the third day of this country music festival. My wife and I had been to the first 2 days. We were there as participants. I wasn't there as a first responder that day. It was the closing act. The gunshots had just gone off. At the time, we weren't sure if it was fireworks or gunshots. We didn't really know. We were kind of all sort of frozen. When Jason Aldean stopped playing, we could hear the gunshots much more clearly. We got down, huddled over my wife. I was there with my good friend Kyle Zinovich. We both jumped on top of my wife to make sure we weren't going to get hit. Sort of assessed the situation, found some cover nearby, jumped over and hid in that cover for a few minutes. There was a little over a minute where there was a break in gunfire. And so everything that I had learned and been trained on, I know that the cops here in this town are really good at their jobs. I know as soon as they intervene, typically with these active shooters, one or two things happen. They get the guy or the guy gets himself. And so I'd figured the problem was neutralized. I told my wife, to grab her car keys and run that way to the parking lot as fast as she can and don't stop running until she gets to her car. There was chaos all around us, and so I knew I needed to get to work and start helping people out that needed it the most. And then about 2:30, after multiple missed calls from my parents, I answered it, and my mom said, my wife's not doing so well right now that I need to come home. And thankfully she wasn't injured physically, but I'm sure as anyone can imagine, emotionally, it was a pretty tough day. So 2:30, I called a lift, covered in other people's blood, and thankfully he didn't kick me out of his car. He took me home, and I got back home to my wife and kids. A mix of emotions. My wife, we met each other in the hallway. She came up and started hitting my chest, angry at me for us separating there in the middle of the night. In the midst of that gunfire, I made a misjudgment, a miscalculation when I thought the gunman was dead, and he wasn't. And then obviously, after 2 seconds of that, we were met with huge hugs and kisses, and obviously we're very grateful to still be here today. I am very proud of where we're at today, and that is through a lot of hard work that both my wife and I had to put in to make sure that we could still be the husband and wife and mother and father to each other and to our children that we deserve. We didn't get here, we didn't get on that path by ourselves. Thankfully I had a lot of coworkers, and it's silly to call them coworkers because they're way more than that. I had some of my brothers that I work with recommend therapists for us to talk to, family counselors for us to answer some difficult questions. And it was hard. It was a really rough first year, but we made it through it. We're still married today, thankfully, and I'd like to think that we're much stronger now than we were, 5 years ago.
What a powerful story. And we're so grateful to him for sharing his story and his strength and his light with us tonight. But now the time has come to start our activity and talk about healing. So for which I will welcome our dear Jackie Harris. Jackie has been helping survivors and families since day one. She's an instrumental part of our behavioral health program at the Vegas Strong Resiliency Center as one of our main consultants. Jackie is going to guide us through a conversation about healing. And by putting your lantern together, you can visualize your own healing. Good evening, Jackie.
Thank you, Tennille. It's time for us to start assembling our lantern kits. I will be walking you through the assembly. Included in the kit, you will find your lantern, decoration items such as stencils, and also a flyer from the Vegas Strong Resiliency Center that talks about the various services and how to reach us. Please know that the Resiliency Center is here for you with many resources. We are all in this recovery together. Now we will start our lantern assembly. Before we start, I want you to take a moment to get in a comfortable place. Take some slow, deep breaths to ground ourselves and clear our thoughts. First, we're going to start with the base. I want you to think of the base as the roots of a strong and healthy tree. For some of us, our base is our family, our friends, art, or music. Feel the strength of the wood and the gift of this lantern that we are creating. As you place your hands on the base of the lantern, I want you to think about your 5 fingers and how they represent the 5 years that have passed from 1 October. I want you to give your hands and this lantern the strength to guide this process and to guide your healing. Next, what we will do is place the base on a table or on a sturdy surface, and we're going to start with the 4 sticks that came in your kit. I want you to think of these sticks as 4 pillars of healing and sources of energy that move us forward. The first pillar can represent healing. As you place your stick in the holes that are provided on the base, think of healing as a journey, not a destination. We all get there in our own individual way, just like each of these sticks are different in their own way. The second pillar can represent hope. Hope is in our minds and in our hearts. All those participating tonight, we hope find hope in the future for brighter days. The third pillar, we want to represent peace. Peace in our lives, peace in our community, and peace in our world. The fourth pillar can represent light. We know that out of the darkest night can come the strongest light. Take a moment and take some time to decorate the paper that was included in your kit. You can use the stencils that were provided, markers, crayons, anything that you want. I cut out some pictures and colored and added some to this. Take a few moments and we're gonna have some peaceful music and scenes to help you while you take a moment to color your paper on your lantern. Use anything that speaks to you to help bring you healing, hope, peace, and light. Next, what you do after your paper is decorated, I wanted to share with you that butterflies mean a lot to me. I think about the rebirth, and it's often a symbol for growth. Also, Vegas Strong is something that became very important to many of us in our community in the days after 1 October. I always think of the tree of life and the things in my life that ground me, that bring me peace. My family, my friends, and for me, music. And the last thing that I added to my paper are the words that are for the pillars: healing, hope, peace, and light. What you want to do is carefully open the paper and place it as we can on the pillars. Take a moment to reflect on what you created and the beauty that our lantern is to become. Before you take out your battery light, what I want you to do is hold it in your hands and really hold it close to your heart. Think about those things in your life that has helped you these past 5 years and things and people and events that have helped you on your healing journey. Take all that energy and place it into the light as we come out of the darkness. What I want you to do then is turn on your light and place it in the base of your lantern. As you reflect on remembrance of the darkest night, know that there are resources available to you through the Vegas Strong Resiliency Center. We are here for you for support, for guidance, for mental health, and other integrative services. Know that you are not alone in your healing journey. We wish you healing, hope, peace, and light as you continue your own journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jackie. But we're not saying goodbye just yet. We do want to give you some space to decorate your lantern and write those healing messages that you want to see and remember full of light.
It is true that when I was decorating my lantern, I was reflecting on the past 5 years and the events of the evening of 1 October. I really thought of those 4 pillars: healing, hope, peace, and light, and how much that means to us. I hope that this lantern becomes a symbol that together we can create light in darkness, and that the more united that we are, the stronger the light that we create.
Thank you very much, Jackie, and thank you very much to everyone who joined us this evening. I'd like to remind you that if you did join late, these instructions are recorded on the Vegas Strong Resiliency Center website at vegasstrongrc.org.
I'd like to thank the Route 91 family, and thanks to all the team that helped make this event possible. Please don't forget that help is always available at the Vegas Strong Resiliency Center. Good night.